Okay, we're looking at residential water supply this morning, and there's so many uses for water, as you know. But in order for us to drink water safely, it needs to be treated. So you can go through and read some of this for your notes, but I want to get into the deeper stuff. As you know, these are all the different things that we use water for. And technically, drinking water is called potable water. If you go to a sink and it says non potable, that means it's not safe for drinking. And this is how things come about as far as how we get our water. Uh, it comes from lakes, rivers, groundwater, and then it has to be treated. And after it's treated, goes to storage tanks, usually above ground tanks, although we're starting to see some being built below ground. But normally it is above ground tanks, and then it goes through distribution systems, pipes. So the groundwater comes from the aquifer, okay, and that is below ground, and we have our water table, and below the soil, depending on the depth, we have our aquifer, and that is the primary source of drinking water. And it again comes from under the ground, and you see how this works. Wells, we have wells that pull the water up and goes into the distribution system. Now, even though it's groundwater and you think, well, that's clean water, well, technically it's not. Groundwater contains different chemicals, minerals from the surrounding ground. Our surface water, we get it from lakes, like I said. We build dams to provide fresh water. The amount of treatment depends on quality of the source. Groundwater requires less treatment than surface water. Okay, so this is where things start to get interesting. So we pump to storage tanks, and remember this, that 1 psi of water is equal to 2.31 feet of water. Okay, that's water pressure is 1 pound per square inch is equal to 2.31 feet of water. So we have our water lines, fittings, valves, meters, hydrants. Real quick, if you look to the right, the branch system. Okay, in a branch system, if one if one part of that line breaks, the whole system needs to be shut down because there's no other way to feed the water. But in a loop system, the water flows in more than one direction, and we can easily shut shut the part of the line that is damaged and fix it and still provide water service to most of the area. Typical new system pipes are thermoplastic. Well, not really, not in PA. We use ductile iron here. The older systems were cast iron or asbestos cement lined. And the typical pressure is 65 to 75 psi. It is designed for less than 150 psi. Water pressure can be pretty intense. So there's a difference for residential. The minimum distribution pressure is 40 and the maximum is 80. And sometimes we need to use pressure reducing valves to slow that down. Commercial industrial facilities may require higher